Hey guys, welcome to the Trash Picture Show. I'm doing a bit of catch up with this one here because today I am reviewing Sting. I went to see this about, I think, a week ago, and I'm only getting around to reviewing it now. I really enjoyed this one. It is directed by Key Roche Turner. That's the director behind the Australian horror comedy movie Wormwood. Yeah, it's the kind of Mad Max meets Dawn of the Dead movie. Speaking of Mad Max, our lead was actually in Furiosa. Alia Brown, who played a younger Furiosa, stars as Charlotte, a young girl who resides with her mother and foster father, along with her foster brother, and finds it very hard to connect with people. As a result, she ends up befriending a mysterious spider that turns up in the dilapidated apartment building. She names him Sting, and unknown to her, he's actually of extraterrestrial origin and is a lot more intelligent than your average spider. Due to the meddling of a creepy neighbour, Sting starts to grow to abnormal proportions, which puts all the denizens of the apartment building on its menu. I really enjoyed this movie. It felt like a nod to something that would have been made back in the 80s, where our heroes are kids. Say the likes of Monster Squad or The Goonies, or even Gremlins. It was a throwback to that, I felt. And when discussing this movie with Jen, she suggested this would be a great gateway horror for younger teens. Despite us seeing spider-themed horror movies before, this one rides the line between silly and serious. I'd put it at the midway point between the likes of Eight-Legged Freaks and Arachnophobia. Ironically, the most compelling part isn't a horror element for me. I think it's more the family drama between Charlotte and her stepfather, Ethan, played fantastically by Ryan Core. A lesser movie would have made Charlotte's stepfather Ethan just a plain arsehole, but there's a lot of layers to this guy, and he's actually a decent dude. He wants to connect with Charlotte, and both of them have an interest in comic books. But when things run afoul for Ethan, it affects his relationship with Charlotte, and you see the dude is struggling to try and keep his family together. So when people start literally dropping like flies in the apartment building, you really don't want anything to happen to this family unit. This spurs Charlotte into deciding to hunt down her now monstrous spider and rescue her family from its clutches, which is kick-ass because a more conventional movie would have Ethan as the hero, but no, it's actually Charlotte. Another great addition to the cast is Jermaine Fowler as Frank, the nice but dim-witted exterminator who's brought into the building and soon realises he's bitten off more than he can chew. While nowhere near as good as John Goodman in Arachnophobia, he still provides much needed levity and is a really fun character to have in this movie. Lastly, the titular Sting itself is done using CG, and ironically the CG isn't at its best when it's an actual normal sized spider. It looks very artificial, but when Sting grows to massive proportions, it works really well. The director does a clever trick of having a character in the foreground and having Sting, say, on the ceiling or on the wall in the background, and uses soft focus. You don't get to see Sting in his fully grown form a lot in the movie, and when you do, again, they use a lot of soft focus and shadow to hide the CG, but it does work, and there is some practical elements definitely used. For example, a lot of the aftermath of his attacks you see rather than Sting himself, victims cocooned to the horrific carnage left in the giant spider's wake. Again guys, I thoroughly enjoyed this movie, in no small part to the fantastic performance by Alia Brown, along with a very compelling story and fantastic effects that really elevates this from being just your run-of-the-mill asylum monster flick of the week. So yeah guys, have you seen Sting? If you have, let me know in the comments below. And also, what is your favourite spider movie? And are you arachnophobic? Let me know that in the comments below as well. My name's Martin, this has been the Trash Picture Show, and yeah, have a good one, take care, bye now.